As expectations for who become the next world champion grows in world football, the game kickstarts this weekend in Qatar, the destinations, and 32 teams will be slugging it out for who becomes the next best national team in the world. Now, the three lions are there: the Brazil national team, Portugal, name it, Africa well represented. Senegal is at the World Cup, and of course, who will win the World Cup? Big question that must be answered, but of course we have to wait till December to determine who wins that one. It's going to be massive. On that note, I welcome you to Sport Pizza, where you get the absolute best in the very exciting world of sport. Now, I'm very excited about this World Cup, and I just can't wait for it to kickstart. My name is Brownson Wana, but before then, let's take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll give you a road to Qatar 2022. Don't go away. The greatest football showpiece lands in Qatar as 32 teams slug it out for who becomes the next world champion.
The World Cup is a platform where gladiators meet for bragging rights.
Now talking about bragging rights, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Robert Lewandowski. Now how can I forget Kylian Mbappe, top players to look out for.
Will the Dietitian be able to make it happen for France this time around? How about Roberto Martinez from Belgium? Not forgetting, from the African continent, Aliou Cisse from Senegal.
Catch all the analysis
right here on Sport Pizza.
All right, welcome back. Now, let me bring my strike partner. We are all excited about the biggest football mundial in the world. Olakunle Philip joins me at this time. Kule, good to have you in the program.
Yeah, top of the day to you, Bronson. It's great to be here once again to talk sport as we count down to the FIFA World Cup. It's going to be a very explosive and exciting one. And unfortunately, our Super goes.
We've said it over and over. So it's now even...
we can't just stop talking about it. When you look at the caliber of players we have at our disposal, it's just sad that we're not going to be seeing players like Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, Cyril Dessers, Paul Onuachu in the World Cup.
Yeah, but I think it's the world's to lose, because I mean we've got talent that the world would have loved to see.
Yeah.
I saw a video of Victor Osimhen that trended over the weekend. When he came out from the stadium, we saw lots of guys, Kunle, fans everywhere queuing up to have a picture. I mean, Osimhen was very patient with most of this, guys, snapped picture with them and all of that, even old women we saw, fantastic. But, I mean, let's move on the show. Now, the World Cup, it's a very, very big tournament. Now, one of the things that make the World Cup prestigious is the trophy. And the trophy, as it stands now, while it cost about $50,000 when it was made, the current value of the World Cup trophy now Kule is valued at $20 million.
$20 million. It's the biggest soccer fiesta in the world. Almost bigger than, when you look at in terms of viewership, in terms of adverts and sponsorship and all of that, is far, far bigger than the Commonwealth Games, far bigger than the Olympics and some other sporting events that we witness in the world. We're not surprised with this. When even at the inception, you said it cost 50 million pounds.
The current value of the trophy alone.
Value alone is the 50 million pounds. That's massive. And you know the good thing, everything that surrounds the World Cup is about money and all of that. Even the participants, those teams that are participating at the World Cup are going to get thousands of dollars. The teams that comes last, the teams that gets knocked out in the first round gets certain amount of dollars. And the teams that that wins the Conference Trophy goes on with the biggest, amount of dollars. And for the players from different clubs, the number of when we had the statistics of the clubs that got the biggest representatives at the World Cup. From England, we have Manchester City with about, I think, 16 players. Chelsea also has about 12. Arsenal has about 10.
I mean, a lot of largesse will go to these clubs.
Lots of largesse. That's why I think for Roma, they were sad that,
Tammy
Abraham and Smalling were not able to make the English national team list.
Yeah, sad one, but we'll get to that in a bit. Now, also to let you know that we understand that lots of new facilities were built for this World Cup. It cost lots of money, millions and millions. In fact, it ran into billions of dollars.
Yeah, Bronson, we talked about it. I think the amount of money from the inception of the World Cup in 1930 that was hosted in Uruguay up till the previous one before now. The price, when you look at it, and the amount that has been expended on this one by the Qatarian Federation, I think it encompasses, it goes beyond all the money that has been spent. So far, it goes to show that we are waiting to see the biggest soccer fiesta ever staged in the history of the world.
Now, Kule, one of the most interesting facts about this World Cup, never has it been seen, Qatar World Cup will see 26 female referees. Now, be it in the VAR, be it on the sideline, refereeing, officiating the game, fourth officials, all of them, they are referees.
Yeah.
26, the first time, never had it been seen in world football.
A very good one. When we talk about gender equality, yes, they can now see, the women can see that FIFA.
I also hope a female officiates the final.
Yeah, that might not be possible, because when we look at, I think from what we've seen, I think the male officials have been more in terms of rating, they are a bit above the female referees, but they are coming up, and it's really a very interesting one that we're getting to see 26 female referees who are going to be on duty when hostility commences at the FIFA World Cup. And the good thing also, Bramson, is that one of them is an African. I think she's from the South African part. She was part of the officials. She has even officiated some male events,
tournaments. Yes. I mean, we see that in England. As it is now in England, for instance, we still have female referees that officiate the Premier League.
Yeah.
So I think it's a fantastic one. And quickly, let's also look at the fact that the first game of the day, of course, would be against the host nation, Qatar and Ecuador. The kick-off time for that game, Nigerian time, is 5 p.m. And I mean, excitement, tensions are high. But now let's look at preparation for this World Cup. Now, prior to this time, World Cup is usually played in the summer. After league must have ended, teams have as much as a month to prepare for this tournament. But Kunle, let's look at performance. We have just 7 days. Don't forget that English Premier League European League ended last weekend, and this weekend is World Cup. With just 7 days to the World Cup, do you think we might have the best performance?
Yeah, I think
no friendly game. Most play 3 4 friendly games before World Cup.
Some of the associations have preempted this. They've seen this coming, and I think kudos should go to UEFA for the
Nations League.
For the Nations League, they've actually used this to prepare the teams ahead of the World Cup. I think this is not happening in Africa. It's not happening in the Federation of Africa, and the South Americans are not proactive enough. I think for the UEFA, they've actually seen this coming, and they've made adequate preparation. And I think that when you look at some of these teams, they've been playing friendly games. Some of them have been playing together. The UEFA nations have been playing games together in the UEFA Nations League. So I think it will be a big deal for some of these teams getting to understand each other better, getting to play together. Yes, like you said, we usually have 3 weeks and almost a month, preparation for the players and the teams before the tournament. But this time around, we're not just going to have 1 week. I think 1 week is enough. The teams have
6 days. 6 days. 6 days is not enough.
Yeah, I think Brazil is enough. It's enough because if you check out some of these things.
6 days to what? I mean, never has it been here. 6
days. There's been times where the teams, when you see the FIFA window, where I think it was about a fortnight ago, where we had the FIFA window, and some of the teams stayed together, played games together. The UEFA Nations League was played, and teams got to play about 3 games or 2 games, together. So that will really bring about understanding, cohesiveness among the team. And it's also happened in Africa. The teams were also playing friendly games. That was when Ghana played against, I think they played against Brazil. Tunisia also played against Brazil. The other teams that were also going to be played, Cameroon also played some couple of friendly games. So I think 6 days, we might say, is not enough. But The teams have been playing together. If you watch, I think for the first time, Brownson. For the first time.
Okay. For the first time. All right.
This is happening. But I still think that the teams, the management, the coaches knows the players that are already, even before the list was made.
Can you use a friendly game, for instance, you played 2 months ago to play a competitive match 2 months later or a month later?
This team, the same set of players, some of them played in the qualifiers together, some of them played in some
national team is not club football. National team is not, we have to separate both. National team, club football, you train week in, week out. National team, you have guys from different clubs that comes together. And you need to play some few friendly games to get that fluidity in the team.
Bronson, doesn't mean that when teams play tournaments,
yes,
and when it's time for the World Cup or major tournaments, you discard the teams the players that played the qualifiers, and of course you bring in a new team. No, that is the way the national team football is. You don't get to play week in, week out. When you have the chance to play, when you have the chance to really blend, you make use of that time.
Exactly my point. So is 6 days enough? When you know you can't even get 2 friendly games in 6 days. Is 6 games enough for you to play friendly game before the kickoff of a major tournament like the World Cup?
Yes, to an extent is not enough, but I still feel that the teams should understand because some of them have been playing together, some of them already understands themselves. If you look at the Brazilian team, they just brought in few players into the fold, into the rank. Maybe some of them might have an opportunity. Some of them might not even get to play at the World Cup. Probably they get 5 minutes, few minutes to play. Most of the team already knows the team that, except for countries like Ghana, where they have some players being injected, switch allegiance, players like Inaki Williams, and few of them who are just being brought into fray. And you could understand that Inaki Williams played in about two friendly games, and for now, he's been able to be introduced and be injected into the team. The bedrock of the team is around some of these players who played in the qualifiers.
All right, Kule, I'll just let that slide. When it comes to this football, sports, we are all entitled to our opinion. So I'll just let it go. But for the sake of the program, now, the English national team, the Three Lions, they call it, their team list has continued to generate lots of controversy from sport pundits and, of course, even top coaches in the world. Now, one of those coaches that have been very vocal about the team list of the English and the Three Lions, the England national team, is Jose Mourinho. Now, before we look at Kule gives us and analyze Mourinho's comments, I feel personally that it's the Three Lions list. Mourinho shouldn't have been involved. But
what it has to do with this player, some of these coaches love their players. They feel that this player is at a certain level, and when you look at the list of players that has been invited into the team, you always want to have your reservation. A lot of people have their reservation about, like you said, about the Three Lions list. It's disheartening when you talk about when you want to win the World Cup and you are bringing in players who are not in good form at this time. I think you have to play select players based on merit, and that's exactly what Mourinho is talking about.
Let's look at that defense line of English national team. Which players or who do you think could have replaced who in this English? Now, let's run through the defense line of the English Lions. We have Trent Alexander-Arnold. We have Connor Cody, Eric Dyer, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire. Okay. I had to go back.
It's good that you went back there.
We have a John Stone who's really not been very active with Man City right now. We have Kieran Trippier, Kyle Walker, I think just go back from injury. Ben White. If you look at this defense, maybe apart from Harry Maguire, I think every other guy in this defense look decent to me.
Yeah, they look decent. I think I don't really have much to say about. He's someone who, for me, yes, is one of the notable players in the Three Lions. And I think that if you look at his performance based on merit, I think he doesn't deserve a place in that team. He has costed Manchester United a lot of problems.
But since he came back, he hasn't had much errors.
Yes, we know when the time comes, we know what Harry Maguire is capable of doing, and that's why I feel that a player like Fikayo Tomori should have been in that team. This is a player.
Smalling plays week in, week out for Roma.
Yeah, the management of Roma, the director of Roma came out and cast and threw aspersions at Gareth Southgate. A lot of aspersions have been going his way for why. I mean, asking him for the reason why
Smalling was left out of that team.
But for me, I think Smalling has had a great week. He has a great season so far. But I think. It's just slightly, I think, for me, Smalling, even when he was playing for Manchester United, the reason why they had to let him go is because, there are times that he makes some errors.
We must also acknowledge that Smalling under Mourinho in Roma has been rock solid.
He's been rock solid.
Solid. Those errors, I mean, sometimes I don't see errors. Rock solid. He has saved Roma a couple of times.
He has saved Roma a couple of times.
If you have a Maguire,
he did well against Napoli that day. But
so if you have a Maguire,
when it was just that momentary loss of concentration that cost Roma the 3 points in that game.
All right.
Because against Victor Osimhen, he made a blunder.
So at least we know.
But I think I can only fault the inclusion of Harry Maguire. I think probably Smalling much better than Maguire and Fikayo Tomori should have made the list.
Let's look at because for me, we'll still come to the submission of all of this while we are even looking at the list at first. Now we have in the midfield position we have Jude Bellingham, Conor Gallagher, of course, very fantastic young player. I mean, playing World Cup for the first time will be a very good experience, but it's yet to be seen if he's going to be a starter in that squad. I think English team have got their midfield sorted out.
Yeah, Bronson is not sorted out. I think that
he's not sorted out.
there's an error in that list, and I think Gareth Southgate might regret his actions. I have my reservations. Calvin Phillips does not merit a place in that team. Since he moved from Leeds United to Manchester City, he had not really had the chance. And he played 56 minutes in the Carabao Cup. I think that such a player...
Just one game.
Just one game.
And then he made it to the Three Lions list.
Yeah, against some of these young players, Eberechi Eze of Nigeria descendant, who, for me, has been playing well for Crystal Palace.
Week in, week out.
Getting,
some decent assists.
Getting in goals, important goals for the club. And such a player, I think, as I regard Southgate, is not being truthful to himself. The last time out during the Euro Championship, he came out and that period, Eberechi Eze was injured. And he said, if not for the fact that he got injured, he would have taken him to Euros. But right now, what excuse does it have? Picking Calvin Phillips ahead of Eberechi Eze, a player who is in form, a player who can create chances. I think for England, I think they are going to regret this. They're going to regret it because right now...
What if England wins the World Cup?
I doubt it. I really don't think so. It will take a miracle for England to win the World Cup with the caliber of players. Yes, they've got solid four, but the backup to these players, I think I really have my reservations.
All right, let's see the forward line. We have Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane. Of course, we have James Maddison, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, finally. Raheem Sterling made the list. We also have Callum Wilson.
Brownson, the attack, is good. Good players. When you talk about Grealish, talk about Foden, it's rejuvenated. The young man is scoring goals week in, week out for Manchester City. But Raheem Sterling in that team, if Southgate is being true to himself, he's entitled to his own opinion, no doubt. But we are doing our job as pundits to really, really get to check the reason why he picks some players. When you look at Raheem Sterling, Brownson, since the start of the Premiership, Raheem Sterling has not been in the best of form. Raheem Sterling that we know as Manchester City is not the same Raheem Sterling we know as Chelsea. Raheem Sterling of Chelsea of this present time struggles to dribble, he struggles to take on players, he struggles to make crosses, and he's one of the players who has really been a burden to Chelsea this season.
Now,
so I think such a player, the best way to really deal, because you've got some other players That's why
we also know a Raheem Sterling in the Three Lions who plays like a beast.
he plays like a beast.
Who put up his heart to play for the nation. Now, if you look at that squad, which other player that wasn't invited that you think could have done better?
That is
than
why
Raheem Sterling?
Tammy Abraham, if you're not playing a winger, you can play a striker.
Tammy is a top 9.
He's a top 9, yes, no doubt. Yes, there's no doubt about that. But he's also being regarded as a striker. He can also play as a supporting striker. Tammy can play from the wings as well. I think that on the basis of this, you play players based on current form. If you're saying Tammy Abraham in the last 1 month or less than 2 months hasn't scored goals and all of that, how about what is the duty of Raheem Sterling? Okay, what impact has he made? Chelsea lost 3 games back to back. And Raheem Sterling played, he was nowhere to be found. No incursion, no crosses, no goals. And this is Tammy Abraham, who even scored the last time out for Roma. So on what basis are we looking at that? If you're saying, yes, he's a winger and Tammy Abraham is a striker. The coaches have their ways.
Let's bring this home. Let's bring this home. Now, we've mentioned Fikayo Tomori, who is doing very well now for AC Milan and yet was ignored by the Three Lions. We've mentioned Eberechi Eze, who is doing so well.
Michael
Olise, a very young lad who I feel is has got everything to prove. I mean, the list goes on and on. What is the lessons for African descendants playing for nations outside their origin?
Yeah, Mourinho has said it. I think it's a very sad one. He said Africa has a chance. They have what it takes. They've got the talents to win the World Cup only if they can play for their country of origin. I think when you look at the French, it's actually spot on, and most of the coaches and the elite they don't want him to always talk in that manner, and it's being truthful. When you look at the manner, the players that have won the World Cup for the French national team, I think 50-60% of
60-70% of that team, yeah.
For Eberechi Eze, I'm not happy that he's not being selected with the English national team. But you have to understand, we've been begging him.
But then we talked about, it's not very clear. Maybe I'll clear that out if he has been capped by the English
he has
national
not been
team.
Capped.
So he's still got a chance to switch allegiance.
And this is a player we need in our national team. Brownson presently, when you look at the caliber of players we have in our national team, it's just sad. We're just like Italy. In terms of, when you look at our attack foray, I think no country, apart from probably, when you look at Brazil, probably France, and maybe 1 or 2 top teams. I think in the whole world right now, we should be, when you look at our attackers, Paul Onuachu's scored 14 goals for his club. We've got Terry Murphy in the French Ligue 1. We've got Victor Osimhen in the Italian Serie A. Ademola Lookman also in the Italian Serie A has bagged in 6 goals. And when you look at this thing, this quality that we have, we just need few midfielders like Eberechi Eze and probably
to distribute the balls.
Olise to distribute, then we'll beat everybody in the world.
Wow, I mean, it's lovely to see how these black players do around the world. We hope that this would really help most of them. But national teams generally really have to do a lot to attract these guys to come back to their home nations. Sometimes we blame them. We see how Nigerian football has been run, why some players don't want to play for the Super Eagles. So we think that the home nations should also do more to attract this player. Kule, I have to let you go at this point. Thank you so much for coming on the program today.
Yeah, it's always my pleasure to be here, and I hope that Qatar, with the hosting and all of that, with all they've put in place, should be able to beat Ecuador, so that the spectators and everyone will still, the fire will continue to burn.
All right,
it won't do the tournament good if Ecuador gets a win against Qatar
in the opening game.
Yeah,
I think for me, one of the things I want to see in this World Cup would surely be the air-conditioned stage. Yeah. I want to see how that would work out. But let's take a very quick break. When we come back, more on the World Cup, so don't go away. All right, welcome back. Samuel Maisie joins me at this time, and of course, still with the fever of the World Cup. It's very exciting, I must say. Now, for all the boozers, if you like alcohol, that a lot of talks about Qatar and all of that, now it's going to be allowed in the World Cup. So I think that has been laid to rest. So now, if you are traveling to Qatar, you're already in Qatar. I mean, there are places that you need to visit. And Sam, tell us what's popping. It looks like for this World Cup, it's just going to be more than the game in the pitch. It looks like. If you're not a tourist, going to Qatar should make you a tourist.
I'm so glad to be here. Talking about the World Cup, the fever is on, and of course, why not? In a few days' time, we'll be watching an array of footballing spectacle all over the globe. Now, talking about I'm going to talk about the extras. Extras now. I know a lot of people are talking about the football, the stadia, the beauty of Qatar. I'm just going to talk about the extras, right? The beautiful places, some of the beautiful places that you have to really be if you're going to Qatar or if you're watching on TV. Some of the things you have to look out for in Qatar 2022.
All right, hit us that. Let's start from. What's it called? Is this South Wharf?
It's Souk Waqif. It's Souk Waqif. Souk Waqif is actually is a place. It's one of the biggest. All right, the biggest traditional markets in Qatar. All right. It's a place that tells you about where Qatar is actually coming from, right? When you look at Qatar today, you see skyscrapers, you see beauty, you see innovations and all of those. But today, formerly, you have the traditional Qatar, and that's what the Souk Waqif, points to you when you visit that place, right? It's where you can get a lot of things, anything you're searching for.
No more developments there. Probably, that region seems to maintain the original nature, so that apart from all the skyscrapers and all the glamour you see, you can still go back to your roots when you go to Souk Waqif. Truth.
It's a place that shows the tradition of Qatar in terms of getting anything you want. If you want souvenirs, that's your place. That's a place you want to be. If you want to give assorted gifts, that's the place you want to be. And also, right now in Souk Waqif, there's this great big statue of the World Cup trophy in that market at this time, right? So there is this atmosphere when you get there. You know, something is going to happen here in a few days' time. Talking about the World Cup.
That's what it is sometimes. Thank you very much, Samuel, for coming on the program today.
Thank you, Branson, for having me.
We hope to see more of you as far as the World Cup season is concerned.
I'll be here once you let me.
All right. That's my final whistle on the program today. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Now, a special thanks to all the guys, when I say million, all the guys that have been sending us email. I read your mails and it makes me feel real good. Now, don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Facebook page is Sport Pizza. And most importantly, go to our YouTube channel, it's Sport Pizza. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscription is absolutely free. My name is Branson Tuwana. On behalf of the production crew, thank you so much for watching and enjoy the rest of the day.